Well, hello, beautifuls, and welcome to another episode of The Gifted Table. I am your excited and your delighted host, Dr. Melanie Harris. Thank you so much for pulling your seat up close to the table. Take your seat, honey. Take your seat. Well, you know what? Don't take your seat today because we're going to be talking about how leaders need to get where? To the balcony, right here on The Gifted Table. So we are in a brand new year. Welcome to 2024. It's a blessing that we're all here, and I'm blessed that you are taking time to be right here at the table, for pulling up your seat nice and close. It's going to be a little intimate conversation today about how to get to the balcony as leaders. So I want you to picture it, either your current days or your former days when you used to be on the dance floor. You know, you hear the music. Well, maybe not that music. I don't know. But when you're on the dance floor, you got your girls next to you, or you dancing with your significant other, and you're kind of looking around at the crowd. Sometimes it's getting a little crowded, so you got to move to the right. You got to move to the left. You know, you're moving back and forth on the dance floor because you're right in the mix of everything that's happening. You're in the groove of it. But what does that look like as a leader? When you're on the dance floor, when you're on the floor level, ground level of what's happening with your organization, whether it's concerning a topic, concerning a new initiative, or maybe there's some complaints and there's some serious issues taking place. How can you as a leader really get a good perspective if you're right there on the floor with everyone else? So we're going to talk about 4 things about how to get to the balcony. And it is a process. It's an adaptive leadership process that many of us have to take on when we want to get different perspectives of how to evaluate, navigate, or analyze a particular situation, or maybe something that's happening in your organization. It could be even a creative piece. Maybe you're introducing something new. So first is the dance floor. You're in the mix. You're right in the midst of the chaos. You're right in the midst of the concern, or maybe you're right in the mix of the creation part. But it's hard to get a clear leadership perspective if you're always on the dance floor. Not saying you shouldn't be on the dance floor, because you need to groove and be right there with your team, with your organization. You need to be in the mix, but we have to get different perspectives. That's a great way to start. Yeah, you can look around and see what's happening. Maybe have some one-on-one conversations. Maybe even some group things. Maybe hear positives and negatives, the pros and the cons, but you're in the mix. So how can you lead or facilitate sometimes the most effectively without having a different perspective? So let's talk about the second one, what I like to call the side. Those who are on the outskirts, the sideliners of the conversation. You know those people. We used to call them, we used to say they were the wall people. You know, you hang on the wall at the dance floor because nobody wants to dance with you. What trends do you notice? What are you hearing or seeing just from the sidelines? But you're still on the ground level. But you're able to see from the sides, which is a different perspective because you're not right in the center of it. You're on the outskirts of it. That's a new vision. So that's a great opportunity for you as a leader to be more watchful, more observant of trends that you're seeing amongst your team, other people, and maybe what you may hear going back and forth. What are people saying as they're moving past you? And the third area for a new perspective is the VIP. You know the VIP, those very important people. You know, the people who get the tables. They want bottle service. Well, we want to call it project service here. So the very important project people, they start to form little cliques Maybe they're the influencers and you see them. They're not on the dance floor. They're not on the side, but maybe they're on that little high rise, 2-step up table area, a little corded after. They have their little boundaries or what have you, but they're having their own little conversation. As a leader, pay attention to those cliques, those small groups of people. Not saying that that's bad. They might be your influencers, but in which direction can they influence a task that you're trying to do, a new initiative you're trying to put forth, or maybe something innovative and creative that you want to bring to your organization, to your customers? What are the VIPs talking about? Go hang out in their section. Get a perspective from there. Maybe you need to integrate some of those influencers across their table lines. But even when that is happening, even when those VIPs think they're so VIP, there's always someone a little higher. And that's the balcony. And that's where you need to get as a leader. Why is it important for you to be at the balcony for a leader? Well, think about it. Think of a balcony. If you're at a concert, if you're at a play, if you're going to see an opera, if you're even at a comedy show, what perspective do you get from the balcony? You're much higher. And at the balcony, you can see the other 3 levels. You're able to see the VIPs down in their section. You can see those who are standing on the sideline, and you definitely can see what's happening on the dance floor. Sometimes being at the balcony, it allows you to step back far enough where you don't necessarily have to communicate with everyone else, but you're paying attention to how they're communicating with one another. It's also a great place for you to be in case there is serious conflict or disagreements taking place. You're not sure how to navigate that. Sometimes going to the balcony allows you time to reset what you may say, to reevaluate the situation, and to perhaps see it from someone else's perspective. But at the balcony, you have a global view. You can see near and far. You can see those who are being more collaborative. You can see those who want to network. And you can also see those who may be left standing on the sidelines because no one is paying attention to the value that they can bring to the task. And it's up to you to notice that, to have that perspective, and to bring in all the key players. Everyone may not have the same role, but you are able to identify which role they can contribute to your organization, to your team, to your task. So staying at the balcony is a great way for a leader to adapt to different situations. It's a great way for you to voice who you are without saying a word, because you're allowing others to kind of give you an insight. You're collecting data, you're gathering trends. And then once you've had enough information, you can then go back down to the floor and share with your group what you've discovered and how you can be a more impactful team with one another. I have for you in the link below, make sure you hit the link below. It is a 4-square activity about how leaders can get to the balcony. Look at those 4 questions and fill it in based on your new perspective. We have to have different perspectives, because if we only have one perspective, then we are not learning, we are not growing as a leader, and nor can we be impactful to those whom we are leading. So get to the balcony, get up there. It's not so scary, but it's also not a place for you to be judgmental or think that it positions you at a higher place than others. It's to give you a different perspective on how you're leading others. That is your balcony. So get high to grow and to go higher with your team, with your organization. You never know who you might also bring along the way, because there are several seats in the balcony. You don't want to go it alone. I hope this is something that you will use. And hey, tell me how you get to the balcony. Leave a comment down below about some strategies and some ways you've gone to the balcony and how that has changed your perspective with dealing with your staff, your employees, your employer, or just with your clientele. I would love to hear from you. Again, thank you so much for taking your seat here at the Gifted Table. Please be sure to give this a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Look at the logo. It's the Gifted Table logo. Make sure you click on that to become a subscriber so that you can be notified whenever we have a new episode that's posted to this channel. I'm so grateful for you being here and taking the time. And remember, stay grounded, innovative, fierce, transparent, every day. In other words, stay gifted. And I'll see you next time.